Welcome back to another we're going to call it an informative episode of Shoes Off Talk. All of our episodes are typically um, motivating and inspiring, informative. Um, so this one really falls in line with everything. But first, I want to check to see how everyone's week has been going so far. Christy, how was your week so far?
It's been eventful.
Oh,
Been eventful.
when somebody says that, there's a story behind it.
Many, many stories. And I have a feeling I'm not alone in this because just where the planets are aligned right now, the retrogrades, I hear a lot of people are struggling. They're going through things. So you're not
Yes.
alone.
Floyd, and yourself.
Mine has been great so far. Yeah,
Mm. Mm.
enjoying it. What about you?
You know what? My week is weeking.
Okay.
Ah.
Weekend.
We're going to call it that. We're going to say my week is weeking. So it's like life. Life
Like
will
the
life.
lifing.
You
And
just
it
like
will be lifing.
Yep.
And so
Just
my
lifing.
week is weeking. Um, I can't. I truly can't complain. There's so much that the world is going through right now. That for me to complain about anything that I'm going through is disrespectful to people that are really going through stuff.
Right.
I always say this. Your worst day is somebody's best day. And I say it to just be mindful and have it be a constant reminder of um, complaining will get you nowhere. Um, and we never want to look at someone else's situation to make us feel good about our current situation. But we go through it. And that is really kind of segueing into today's episode. And Christy is going to be narrating today's episode because that falls in line with what she does. Her 189 titles that she has, her earthy titles that she has.
Yes.
She's going to actually give us some insight on why everything is going the way it's going, while you're feeling the way you're feeling. There is an explanation to it all. Is that right, Christy?
There is. And I'm super stoked about today's topic, which is frequencies and energies, tuning into everyday vibrations. So yummy topic, and it's one that I'm very passionate about. And I took down some notes so that way I wouldn't get off track because I could talk about this forever.
Yeah, this is her topic. She can preach a sermon on it.
Yes.
And just before she gets started, I want to say, for those of you that are single people, add this to your repertoire. We silently, I say we, single people, we conduct interviews, whether it be visual, whether it be verbal, when we look to date. I will give you a bit of advice. Let the initial attraction be the physical, but please ask the tough questions, and the thing that should be most attractive to you about that person is their frequency and energy. Take it from here.
All right.
Yeah, very good. And so today we're going to explore the connection between frequency and energy in everyday life through both scientific and spiritual lens. Yes, so for centuries, mystics, sages, and ancient healers spoke about energy, vibration, and the power of sound long before we had the tools to measure it. Modern science, however, has dismissed it as unprovable and mystical. So I have a lot of experience with this because I resonate with the mystics of the world. I've always felt the energy, but then you hear that scientists, growing up at least, that doesn't make sense. It's woo-hoo, so now this is such a powerful time right now because we're coming full circle to where science meets the mystic. It proves it, which is super exciting. It's an amazing time to live in for all of us. Um, yeah, so science is finally catching up to what the mystics have always known, which is everything is energy and energy moves in waves. What was once called woohoo is now waveform. And now there's cool instruments like EEG, ECGs, spectrograms, and resonance meters that we can actually measure energy and frequency in the body, in the brain, and in the environment. So it's super cool to live in this time. It's a beautiful full circle moment where ancient wisdom meets modern validation, and it's helping people reconnect with their own intuition because it's no longer unknown. It's not just a belief. It's now backed by real science. It has real data now to it. So everything in the universe is made up of energy and vibrations. It vibrates. The frequency is what it vibrates. So frequency is the rate of vibration. Energy is the force behind it. So a lot of people get confused with frequencies and energies and what's really the difference, right? Because a lot of people, they just clump it together, which is easy to do because you think of frequencies and energy is the same, which it is very, very similar, considering that frequency is the rate of vibration and energy is that force behind it, which we feel. Our emotions or our thoughts, we actually feel that. So I want to ask you guys, when is the first time you noticed energy? Do you have a story behind there that you noticed the power of energy and frequency?
I think it was more so we noticed it, but didn't know what it was. And I think as the information started coming out about it, we started, I think for me, it was more like, okay, that's what that is. And then it became more noticeable because I was able to recognize it then.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it. I mean, I just thought when it came to energy, it was something that you just automatically either have or you don't have enough of. So I was just like, well,
I like that because I think that's a common thing that most people think.
Right.
You either have energy or you don't. You're tired or you're awake.
Well, with energy, I think we were looking at more of early on, we looked at it more of the physical, dang, she has a lot of energy in her movement. We didn't really connect it with the unseen.
Right.
Pretty much until, like I said, the information came out, people always equated energy with the ability to move and how often and how frequent you move physically. And now you notice, I know for me, I know when, depending on how well I know a person, I know when they walk in a room when their energy is off. Or if it's a high vibrating person, high energy, high frequency, they walk in a room and you automatically turn your head in their direction because of their energy and the frequency that they operate at. And I've gotten that a lot. People have come to me and told me that as well. And it's okay. And when it started repeating itself and more and more people start saying, I was okay, all right, that could mean something.
So do you have a story of when is the first time you actually noticed that and you thought to yourself? Because we've always noticed it subconsciously, but not consciously, right? So do you have a story of when you actually noticed it and you thought, oh, this is real, there's something to this?
Well, for me, I don't know, per se noticed it, but it was just something when, okay, I take that back. Yeah, when first time I've noticed is when somebody told me, they're like, oh man, you got a lot of energy. So I'm thinking no, I'm tired right now. They was like, no, your energy, your level of
expansive. Your energy is expansive.
And so I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. But then at the same time, once I started to get more knowledgeable about the whole concept of what that actually means, then I started to understand it.
Right.
For me, it really became noticeable one day. Like I had heard people say, about my energy. It's like you have a really great energy about you. But really, what made me step back and be like, oh wow, my energy must be really strong. Like I was at the wine festival in Scottsdale, and I was having a conversation with some people, and I was talking about them about my motivational speaking and some of the stuff that I do, and it was some people that I knew, some that I didn't, and I'm always aware of people around me, just because of training, just because of just the way that I am. And so as I'm standing there, I see these ladies walk by, and I go on with my conversation, whatever, because I noticed uh, one of them kind of turned her head, and it gave you that look like, I think I know him. And then I looked at her like, does she know me? And kept going with the conversation. About 2 minutes later, she had doubled back, and I see her walking toward me, and I'm like, I don't know who she is. I wonder if she knows me. And she stood there for a second while I finished my conversation, and she said, I just got to tell you, it's like when I walked by you, your energy was so strong that I had to look at you to see where it was coming from. Uh, she was like, it's all positive. She's like, but your energy is ridiculous. And to feel it outside in public in a crowded area, that's when I noticed that it was something different. Like, I think at that point, I was familiar with energies and people's energies, um, and didn't understand, what level, there's levels to it.
Yeah.
And didn't understand the level in which my energy was operating at. But that day, I was like, wow, like that's crazy. A perfect stranger, wasn't having a conversation with them. They walked by me and then walked back to tell me.
It's crazy on how with a lot of people they know all about it, but some of us who didn't really know, it had to be someone to inform us about it.
Yeah, and then you start taking notice.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're constantly affected by frequencies that we emit and absorb, both physically, mentally, and emotionally. So if you enter a room and you can feel the energy instantly, is there tension in the room? Is there a big elephant in that room? Is it lighthearted? You can feel that energy of what's going on in a room before you even enter it. So taking paying closer attention to that can be really powerful, because if you don't want it to affect you and your energy, you might have to just turn around and walk out, or you know what, something came up, I can no longer stay here. And learning how to find your own balance is so important, so you can notice that, you know what, this is going to affect me in a way that I don't want it to.
I have a quick question. Now, with the whole energy and frequencies, like I know, like with me, I try to keep everything in perspective when it comes to everyday life, and I try to stay on that positive note. But at some point, there are some things that will just bottle your mind, and you start to weigh down. If you're thinking about, I gotta have that energy, or I gotta have that frequency thing, I gotta have all that. But at the same time, it's like how do you balance that?
Yeah, I think that's so important to learn how to do that for yourself, because we all have different things that we do that raise our vibration, raise our frequency. What's something you really enjoy doing? If it's going to the gym, go to the gym. If it's singing, singing, vibration, so powerful. There's so many different healing modalities that the ancient healers and sages have been using for centuries. I mean, we have mantras, we have mudras, we have breath work, we have meditation, yoga, movement, any type of movement, and why did I just draw a blank? But there are so many things that the ancients were using, like chakras. Each chakra has a specific frequency, and if it's out of balance, our whole body's out of balance. It affects us emotionally, physically. We can become ill. So knowing that, hey, that chakra is out of balance, you can work on what frequency is it supposed to be at, and what do I need to do. Like in yoga, we have different poses for each chakra to help balance it back out. So if you're super aware of this chakra is what's out of balance, you can work on that. But now scientifically, this is what's cool, because the scientific world is not necessarily my world. But looking into all the scientific things that they have now, because if you notice, healthcare plans are actually starting to cover, like, they already cover chiropractic and different modalities, holistic doctors, and acupuncture, and these practices that were once acupuncture. I remember my mom taking me to acupuncture when I was 12 years old. It was in someone's house. It was not widely known, and it wasn't accepted. The doctors would look at you like sideways if they thought you were going to see an acupuncturist. And now that's something that is actually covered under insurance. So I had to look at the experiments that have been done, scientific. So it's now you can see that it's been proven. They can show it. And one of my favorites, of course, is Dr. Samaro. I can't say the name wrong, so I'm sorry, Samaro Emoto. Did I spell that right? M-A-S-A-R-U. M-A-S-A-R-U. Samaro? Samaru?
That's close.
Dr. Samaru Emoto's water crystal experiment. Emoto exposed water to different words, thoughts, and music, then froze the water and photographed the resulting crystals. He found that words like love, gratitude formed symmetrical, beautiful crystals. Negative words made distorted, fragmented ones. So what do we think that this does to our body? Our body is like 80% water. If we are telling ourselves, I'm stupid, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a failure, what do you think is going to happen in your body? We are 80% water. He proves that if you use positive words and positive music and froze it, there are symmetrical, beautiful designs. And when you say negative words, it's chaotic, chaos. Do you see some of those people there that are just like completely chaotic? You can almost guarantee they're speaking very poorly about themselves. So to get them to retrain their brain, just the words they use, the words that they think, the words that they speak, so powerful. So that tells you words, how powerful words are, how powerful water is, and water will literally ship-shape. Is that a word? Ship-shape into the words and the vibration that we're thinking. So that's super powerful. I love that experiment. Then there's also schematics, the geometry of sand. So this is Dr. Hans Jenny. The practice takes sand or salt and places it on a metal plate and exposes it to sound frequencies. Different frequencies create intricate, repetitive geometric patterns. Higher frequencies produce more complex forms. This proves that sound has the power to shape matter visibly, proving that frequencies impact the physical world. Have you seen those videos? Like, if you haven't, check up on YouTube the schematics videos where they take sand or salt and they play music, and you see these beautiful, as the music's changing, it changes beautiful shapes. It's so powerful. Again, what do you think it's doing to you? So that's why you hear a lot of people, if they're like in a negative space, they'll just go turn the music up real high and they'll go in a room, whatever music that is that uplifts their energy. That's another way to do it. That's a simple way if you're not into this stuff. Listen to music that uplifts you.
That's important as well because we talk about our circles and our friendships and how important that is in our lives, and to be able to recognize those things such as frequencies and energies will give you a better understanding of the kind of quality people that you're around, either for a long period of time or for that moment. I know it's been times, plenty of times, where I've even walked in the gym and the energy was just off in the gym, and I turn around and either go to another gym or not go work out. Like it's that important to me. And then like we have to start paying more attention to the energy and frequencies that the people that we're around, what they maintain. And it's no knock against you, if you change your environment because the energy and the frequency is off. It just, you have to be aware of that because like she said, the longer you expose yourself to it, it really starts molding you. And so it's important to recognize it. I think that's why it was important for us to have this conversation today and kind of give people insight on it, let them know what it looks like, what it is to possibly change and operate at a higher frequency. But it's important. But and we're human, so we're going to have those undays, those days where we may not be operating at the highest of frequencies. And that's why it's important, like Christy said, is like you have those hobbies, you have those things that take you to that place of solace that relaxes you. Especially with the way the world is now, man, it's important that we have those spaces, to move around in because it's bad right now, and there's no sign that it's going to get better. And so I think that's another reason why it's becoming so much of a conversation is people are really in search of outlets. And I always say this: you won't see significant change until it starts affecting the right people. And typically that change will come when it starts affecting the decision makers. When it starts affecting the decision makers, that's when you'll see change. Well, if it affects the decision maker and them and their family members, like there's gonna be some change because they can't selfishly do it in the public side for just their family. So they're gonna make it policy. They're gonna make it procedure. They're gonna make it law.
See, you can't worry about what other people do because the only person we have the power to control is ourselves.
Yeah,
so
but
we can't let other people's choices and what goes around us affect us internally. We have to know how to reset ourselves.
And I say that from the standpoint to where it's just like everything else. It's just like Black history. A lot of people didn't know their Black history in depth until stuff started happening. And then because people that are in power started talking about our Black history and our background and what we invented and what we have our fingerprints on, then it kind of sparked that conversation to made you want to go dig into it. Same thing with this situation is that even though we are in charge of our own energies, our own frequencies, we control it. It's nice to have everybody know about it. That way, people are more cognizant of their own energies to where you don't necessarily have to always separate yourself from it. People will recognize that their energy is off and they will move away instead of you having to move away. So that's why it's so important that the message gets out and it becomes known. Like you said, in the past, they weren't associating this with science. Like you said, it was just something that tree huggers did. Like it was, to a point to where they were calling it black magic and witchcraft and all of this other stuff. And now, because it's affecting the right people and they're seeing the benefits of it, now it's the norm. So now let's add it as a benefit to your medical insurance. Let's start creating more classes about it. Let's start, let's get more speakers up in not just small spaces. Let's have them talk corporate. And
so now, saying that, what is, I'm curious, what is a practice that you used to view as totally out there, but now you believe in it?
I don't see. It's different for me because coming from a kid that was raised in a church, I understand the power of God. I understand that if you think it, it can be done. So that for me, it was more of an understanding for me than it was like, oh, that's this and that. It's just like conspiracy theory. For the life of me, I don't understand how conspiracy theory got such a bad name, because everything that we enjoy was found on a conspiracy. Conspiracy is actually not a bad thing. Like when you really look at it, it's just a different way that somebody views something, not necessarily bad, but that those people think outside the box. I use this example all the time. If you would have told us 20 years ago, that 25 years ago, that we would have a self-driving vehicle, people would have put you in a straitjacket. Oh, that's only on the Jetsons. That you ain't about. Now every car maker has some level of autonomous vehicle, and we're riding around in taxis that are autonomous, that don't have a driver. But if you would have talked to people even 15 years ago, man, you crazy. There we go with the conspiracy theories again. And it's not. I think when we look at it like that, we kind of close ourselves off at the possibilities of what could be. And I think that's what it was with people, is that they couldn't see it and understand it. And we live in a society, if I can't see it, feel it, or touch it, then I don't know if it's real. So, and I think that's what it is, and people are starting to get more of an understanding.
I think now it's more accepted. It used to be if we can't see, touch, or feel, but now science is proving otherwise. We're paying attention to those subtleties that we didn't before. But just to clarify, you're telling me there's nothing that you once looked at, like I put a crystal bull on my head, or I put a Tibetan bull on my head and ding it, and you weren't looking at me like, what the hell is she doing?
No, but I need you to explain to me what you're doing. Because I like I said, I grew up in the South, grew up in the Midwest, traveled a lot, so I've been exposed to a lot of stuff in my life. Like for me, if I see you do something, I'm like, does it help you? What's the benefit of it?
Okay. What about you, Floyd?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's like that's my thing. It's like, what is the benefit of you doing that? Is it working out something, or what are you doing that for? Because if it's gonna help you do something and it's gonna make something miraculous, then I want to try it.
Right.
So.
Yeah. But if you're telling us if I ding this, I could talk to people on Mars. Like now you're talking some conspiracy stuff. Yeah, I need you to explain that. Like, I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm gonna need you to explain that, and how come more people ain't got them bows and the dingers.
I don't know. I might have some followers on here that might be able to do that. Hit me up if you can ding a bull on your head and talk to Mars. You never know.
Most of your followers are probably thinking that's code for something else.
Right.
That is a possibility.
They're probably on there like, Christy, I will ding a bowl for you any day. Just let me know. Ding, ding.
Okay, so I want to talk about some of these other scientific studies that they've done. So they have HeartMath Institute that found emotions like gratitude and love create coherent heart rhythms, measurable and beneficial. So they actually can measure your heart rate based on the thoughts that you're thinking and vibrating, and it makes your heart more rhythmic. So that's very powerful, especially people who suffer heart issues. If you feel out of balance in your heart center, focusing on words like love and gratitude. And here's another thing too, is on the scale of frequencies, because I think it's measurable from 20 to gratitude is over 700, I believe. So gratitude is at the top. That's what can bring you, like, help balance you right there. If you can feel gratitude, that will help balance you. Gratitude is at the top on the frequency scale. What do you think is at the bottom?
Ungratitude.
Something that would lower your frequency?
Yes. The lowest frequency, what do you think that is?
Probably just negativity. I know.
Fear. Why do you think
Yes.
they try to keep us afraid? We're easily controllable if we're afraid because we function at a low frequency. If you
That makes
want
sense.
to raise your vibration, think gratitude. Feel gratitude. So
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Not to cut you off, but that if you think about the world and we think about the things that will make the world a better place, it's always giving. It's always showing love.
Right.
And it could be gratitude from the point to where I am paying it forward to you, or it could be the receiving of it. And that just means that, we're on the same
Find the
page.
gratitude
we're
in it.
communicating, we're, in a great space. And so that makes a
and you
lot
can
of sense.
always find the gratitude. Before we started the show today, I was telling Floyd about something that had me in tears last week, and I was just in that low spot. And instantly, I had to tell myself, like, find the gratitude in it, because in every experience or feeling or emotion that we're having, you can find the gratitude in it. And I did, and I instantly started feeling better. Instantly, when I started seeing the gratitude in that. So, and here's a quick reset that we can do. I'm going to have you guys do with me real quick.
We ain't got to put our
3
feet
breaths.
behind our.
You don't have to put your feet behind your head.
Okay.
So knowing that words are vibration, and the highest ones are gratitude, love, joy. Think of one of those words. It could be gratitude, love, joy. Put your hand on your heart, and this is the B breath. So you inhale through the nose, and then you hum out with your mouth shut. You're going to hum. And what this does is it activates the pituitary pineal gland, the thymus, behind the neck. What is that?
Where's the pineal gland? Oh, so is that why Indian people put the dot right here on their head?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the pituitary, if you actually, kids that suck on their thumbs, if you press on the top of your thumb, you stimulate that. But if you vibrate, and then there's, I can't think of it right now, in the back of the head. Anyway, when you hum, you're vibrating this whole area, and it stimulates it, and it's a quick reset for you, something that doesn't take super long if you don't have a lot of time and you need to readjust. We're going to close our eyes, think of a word, inhale through the nose. Inhale. Make sure you're focusing on that word, gratitude, love, joy. Inhale. Allow your hands to float down to your lap. Take a few breaths, normal breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Feel your body. What are you feeling in this moment? Do you feel a shift? Do you feel calmer? Do you feel gratitude? Do you feel love? Do you feel joy?
Joy.
Yes, joy. Woo! Is that the word you use? Joy. Yes.
Lord, you sound like you was about to start shouting out there.
Let me run.
So yeah, that's a quick reset when you're like, I'm feeling it right now. Here, let me just do this. Let me focus on this word. Let me hum it out, vibrate all this whole area, and it really helps. I love deep breath. I use it often.
When it's called B breath.
Mm-hmm.
Deep breath.
Deep breath. because you sound like a bee. Bee.
Oh.
Okay, so a couple more studies that they've done. They've done one on brainwaves where they've been able to identify the state of delta, theta, alpha, beta, gamma, all different frequencies that create different states of consciousness. So some of those are like when you're asleep, or when you're in meditation, or when you're working out and you're super alert. It's a different frequency, and they've been able to measure that, which is pretty cool. And then there's binaural beats. If you haven't tried binaural beats, I suggest you do. Very cool binaural beats. You put the what are they called? Headphones. Thank you. The headphones over your ears. Sometimes I just not working right. But you put the headphones on your ears, and it plays different frequencies in each ear, and then it creates something powerful inside. It manifests a completely new frequency that's not even in the music.
So that
it's creating it within you.
It's in the headphones, or you listen to something.
You listen to music in the headphones. So you put the headphones on and you listen to binaural beats. You can listen to them on Spotify. I'm sure any kind of music has.
How do you spell binaural?
BINAURAL.
It's like a brainwave.
Yes, it's like a brainwave. And so those vibrations are vibrating, and it's creating its own frequency within yourself, which is super cool. So they've done that. Sound therapy. It's used in sound therapy to shift.
You said 2 words at one time.
I know. I'm trying to talk too fast.
Chef.
Like I said, there's like so much going on in my mind. It can go so many different places. I'm just skipping. So it can shift your brainwave states, reduce anxiety, or enhance focus. So if you are wanting to enhance focus, if you have anxiety, put on some headphones, listen to some binaural beats. That is another great way to do that as well. I love binaural beats. Those are great.
Especially like when you're in the gym working out, or
So another one that holistic doctors have used for centuries is muscle testing. Have you guys ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
So it's when the doctor, if you've gone to a holistic doctor before, they might put something in your hand, have you hold it at your solar plexus, raise your opposite hand up, and try to push your hand down. Now, they test you first to see how strong you are, just naturally. And then once you put something at your solar plexus, if it goes down, it is not good for you. If it stays strong, then it is something you might need, or you might be even stronger. My mom taught me this when I was a kid. She didn't, wouldn't necessarily want to take me to the doctors all the time, the holistic doctors, because they could be pricey. So she'd take me into the grocery store, and she'd pick out a bunch of different vitamins, vitamins that she thought I needed. And she'd have me hold it to my solar plexus, and she'd muscle test me right there in the grocery store to see which one is most beneficial for me. So do you want to do like a little test? I'll just do a little test.
Yes.
This will be fun. And I have no idea what's going to happen here because he's never done this before, but I want to test it. Okay, so let me just explain what I'm going to do first because I'm going to be away from the mic. I'm going to have Tim stand up and muscle test him to see how strong he is naturally. And then I'm going to put something in his hand, and we'll just see what happens. Okay.
Relax.
Yeah, relax. Now put out your right hand and don't let me. At your heart.
It's stronger when I put my hand on my heart.
No, I'm just going to take
Protecting
something.
the heart.
Now I'm just going to do something. This. A little something. Put it. Oh, I should have this. Put it at your Really? That's I was expecting a little bit more than that. Oh wow! I'm actually surprised because I was expecting way more.
You almost pulled me over.
Okay,
these are disgusting.
I'm surprised.
I'm so against those. Those are freaking disgusting.
That's his kryptonite.
Wait, you know what? I have to show like my people this here. This is powerful. First of all, put your hand at your heart center. Let's do that again. Show me how strong you are. You're strong. Okay, now, at your solar plexus. Like you can't even try if you wanted. Like
I'm
when
trying
you're trying to go above, like that.
I just got on my toes to try.
That shows you right here how good this is for us, people. That's crazy.
You know
I didn't
what?
even think you were gonna be that weak. I thought this big, strong man.
Hold on,
let's
let's try something else. Yeah.
Okay.
This is the sinus stuff.
Okay. Put that in your hand. Put that on your
That-
solar
that
plexus.
is-
Don't let me put it down.
There's no difference.
Oh,
I'm already got it.
Fight me, Tim. Fight me.
I'm fighting you.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
You're stronger than you were with the sugar, but you're still pretty weak.
Yep.
I hate to say it, but yeah.
Now I want to try a bunch of stuff.
But you are stronger than you were with the sugar, so it's not necessarily that bad for you. But it doesn't. It doesn't make you stronger. It doesn't make you stronger. You know, when you put your hand on your heart, you actually became stronger.
That was protection.
Right. Right. So that's a little test that I love. If you ever want to try it with your kids, take them in the grocery store, start sticking stuff on their stomach. Then you'll really see how bad those bag of with all the kids
everything.
like Cheetos and Doritos and
gummy
all
bears and all of that.
Yeah, see how weak we're making our children. You can see it's disturbing when you really try it.
Crazy.
But a couple of my favorite quotes too that I've always loved. Tesla, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think of terms of energy, frequency, and vibrations. Yes, and then we have Einstein, match the frequency of the reality you want. So powerful. Then there's Brahmi. Raise your words, not your voice. It is rain that grows flowers, not thunder. I love that one because it's so true. We want to raise our voice all the time because we think we're being heard, when in reality, it's the words. It's not the extension of the voice. It's the words that we're using. So powerful. Joe Dispenza, gratitude is the highest vibration. And they tested that, and it is true. Gratitude is the highest vibration.
So get out there and show some gratitude, people.
That's right.
Gratitude.
You want to change your situation? Show some gratitude.
Yes. So what are thoughts that you have now that you know about like frequency and vibration? What does it make you want to do more of? Does it make you more aware, consciousness? Does it change the way that you do things on a day-to-day?
Well, I understand now when I'm operating at my highest frequencies, and I try to stay at that level all the time. And then when I'm not operating at those frequencies, I do the things that can get me there. That's why I support. Like for me, I can't stand being around negative people. Like they have nothing. I would say nothing, but it's always, they don't use positive words of affirmation. They're always, I can't do this. I ain't never been able to do this, and this is too tough. I can't. And it just, the negativity just drives me crazy. Drives me crazy. And so for me, I've just, like, probably one of the biggest life changes I've made is I just started changing where I go. I started changing the people that are around me. And it sounds selfish, but I started being more aware of, just my availability to people. I just stopped being so available, because I think the more you're available to people, the more you have a chance of being around that negative energy. And so
having healthy boundaries is important.
Yes.
That is important. What about you, Floyd?
Well, I just pretty much, I'm a loner. I don't really be around a whole lot of people.
You do at the airport.
but that's
You're always around people,
how is
Floyd.
how is your energy and frequency when you're at the airport? Do you notice it, or are you just that busy, or?
At some point, I get the opportunity to show out the energy.
Yeah.
But other times, when you're dealing with people, that can really bottle down your energy and frequency.
Right, and Floyd and I were actually just talking about something before we started the show today. He was telling me a story about something that happened at the airport. If you care to share.
Well, yeah, I was out there. Well, I was at work, and I was walking like I normally do, and I saw a
I
young
hope
lady.
so.
I saw a young lady that was crying, and so as she was crying, I stopped to talk with her, and I was asking her. I said, what's going on? What's wrong? And she said her grandfather had died, had passed away, and so I was like, oh, wow, okay. So I started to talk with her, condolencing and all that, talking to her about it and everything. And it went on for about 30 minutes. And so during that time, her demeanor, her attitude and stuff started to ease up,
Shit.
And so, at point in time, I did, make her laugh, I did, so her body, everything started to shift up. And and at the end of that, I told her, I said, look, I talked for a very long time. And she said, yes, you did. And I was like, if you don't remember anything that I said, this is the most important thing that I want you to remember at the end of it. This is the most important thing. And then I was like, I'm going to pray for you and your family. That's the only thing I really want you to do.
And see, what I told Floyd, I said that a lot of people won't remember what you say, but they remember the way you make them feel. That's the frequency. That's your energy. She'll remember that you made her heart lighter, that you made her feel better. She'll remember your energy.
I think it's important that we are aware of our energy and frequency at all times, regardless of what we have going on, because it is contagious. And sometimes you get caught up in the daily life, and you're not paying attention to your frequency and your energy, and that kind of, we notice it with other people when people's energies change when they're around you. You, and especially if you know them, you are aware of it, and you're like, hey, you good. But that goes with, doing those self checks and making sure your energy is operating optimal at all times, because your energy is affecting someone else. Mm-hmm. And for your energy to not, and frequency not to be operating at a high level, could be like a clash with someone else that may be looking for that energy boost. And so that it's important for us to always be aware of the frequency. And it's not like you won't know. Those are the times, the stressful times. Those are the times when you got a lot on your mind, a lot on your plate. Those are the times where our frequencies and energies start really lowering. And Christy gave us an example and an exercise to do at those times. And I think once those things start becoming more and more habit forming, now you don't have to make yourself aware of it. It's just innate. You just automatically do it. Like, hey, do it like an energy frequency check. Like, okay,
self-checks are really important to do. And noticing that my energy is different around certain people, you need to start doing that. Everyone needs to start doing little short check-ins with their self, with their body. How am I feeling around this person? How am I feeling around this group? How do I feel when I watch the news? There's a reason I stopped watching the news. I don't watch it.
Yeah.
I don't watch it. I don't like what it does to my energy.
I don't watch it either.
People will tell me all the time, oh my goodness, do you hear what happened on the news?
Nope.
I'm like, no, why don't you tell me? Because I notice that when people tell me what's going on in the world, opposed to when I watch it on the news, my energy is different. A friend of mine can tell me, and it doesn't shift my energy like when I'm watching the news. It's like one thing after another, and it makes your shoulders start coming up and all tense. And so you have to take note of that. what is going on in your body when you're in different situations. And if you need to remove yourself, remove yourself. And we're also all connected. We are the matrix. So we're all connected. Have you ever wondered like why you think of someone and you feel like you have to call them? And when you call them, maybe a parent died or they're going through something, they needed your energy. They needed you to talk to help balance them out. We're connected. That's a real thing. So when you feel called to reach out to someone or be there for someone, that's your internal knowledge saying that your internal connection that this person needs you right now. So acknowledge that internal connection, the inner web, I should call it. Listen to the inner web when it's telling you to leave a situation, it's telling you to call someone. It's very important. So do you guys have anything else to put on this?
Well, I will say this, like just in your daily life, you know, doing that energy check is so important. You know, going to an interview, you know, going to a business meeting, it's definitely a way to be more productive. You know, to have people view you and create that energy going into whatever it is. So constantly give yourself that energy and frequency check. Keep surrounding yourself with people that have great energy, that operate at a high frequency. Today's information was mind blowing, always is. I think the more that we can learn about ourselves to where we are operating optimally, it's very important. And so we want to thank Christy for enlightening us and sharing information regarding what she does and what's going on and everything. So hats off to Christy.
Thank you. Thank you. Woohoo.
We appreciate everyone tuning in today. I have a lot of people on my lives, and so that just lets me know that this topic and this subject it means something to a lot of people, and they're using these practices. They're more understanding of it, and this you can really go down a rabbit hole with this stuff.
Oh yeah.
So
yes, we can.
And so educate yourself on it, man. The more you educate yourself on this kind of stuff, the more you start learning about yourself. And so we appreciate everybody tuning in to another fabulous Shoes Off Talk. We're asking everybody to go over to, are we still on Spotify?
Yes.
Go over to YouTube and Spotify and subscribe, like, share, all of the above, because that's going to allow us to do more things with the podcast. And so, like I said, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Have a great rest of your week. And how we end all shows, love, peace, and soul.